Well, Kim Jong Un departed Beijing earlier today after making a surprise visit to the Chinese capital. The North Korean leader arrived on his armored train yesterday morning to meet with the Chinese president. The visit comes amid ongoing talks between China and the U.S. President Trump and President Xi agreed to a 90-day truce in the trade war last month. Both nations have seen their economies rattled by this trade dispute. But the purpose of China's meeting with North Korea this week, well, that's just still not clear. China's foreign ministry refused to comment on the timing of Kim's visit, saying, quote, "What we should focus on is that China and North Korea are making joint efforts to uphold peace and stability on the Korean peninsula." Isaac Stonefish is a CBSN contributor and senior fellow at the Asia Society Center on U.S. China Relations. You know, they say timing's everything. Images send a message. What were those images of meeting with the North Korean leader and the Chinese president supposed to send?
I think the North Korean leader was saying to Trump, listen, you're not the only game in town. I have options. If we don't meet for a second summit, or if you increase the talk, if you try to increase the sanctions, I can just focus more on China. And I think what China was saying with the meeting was, okay, we're having these difficult negotiations over the trade war. I can help you with North Korea if you yield on this part of our relationship.
What do you think it is that the North Korean leader, Kim Jong Un, wants from President Xi?
I think it stated that he would really like relief of sanctions, and China can really advocate for that. China is also the key to North Korea's economy. Over 90% of North Korean trade goes through China, and if North Korea really wants to revitalize its economy, it really needs China's help. China is a little bit reluctant to help North Korea because it's got such a poor track record of being an easy partner to help, but things could change.
You're talking about pressure on certain pressure points. You know, the U.S. also needs China to help to get North Korea to denuclearize. You know, this is sort of sometimes like a three-legged race, it feels like. What do you think it is when the Chinese and the U.S. are talking over these trade negotiations? Does this give China more leverage that they've got this?
It certainly does give China more leverage. And there's also this fantasy that some in the U.S. government have that North Korea will denuclearize. And I think people give life to that fantasy because it's something that Trump seems to believe. But it just feels like, speaking to a lot of the analysts and people who follow this, it seems almost impossible that North Korea would ever give up its nuclear weapons. I think China recognizes that, North Korea recognizes that, and some people in the U.S. government recognize that. But it's something that I think all sides are keeping this illusion alive, sort of as a way to have Trump save face and allow negotiations on nuclearization go on.
We know that President Trump and the North Korean leader, Kim Jong Un, are expected to have a summit in a couple of months. Expected. What do you think will come from that? Will anything come from that? And what are you watching for?
So I think the location is going to be very important. Right now, they're talking about Vietnam, which is a communist country that has instituted successful economic reforms and moved closer to the United States and away from China. So that would be a symbol there. Also looking to see if the two leaders can, at the meeting, go beyond just this confidence-building measure and actually come up with something concrete. I think we'd also really be looking for signs in the lead-up to the summit to see how serious Kim Jong Un is about engaging with the world and perhaps stopping some of the awful practices in regards to the way he treats his people. I'm not optimistic about that, but it's something that I'll be looking for.
Isaac Stonefish, thank you very much for joining us, Isaac.
Thank you.